So phenomenal today. I feel too blessed to be stressed. You understand me? Um, Very important message today. Definitely. Before I even shit shower and shave in the morning, the first thing that I always tell myself is, Tony, today I am going to multiply my value 100-fold, and everything I touch turns to gold. And then I even say, thus says the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. You understand me? I am Lord your God, who teaches you how to profit, who will lead you by the way you should go. I think that's Isaiah 48:17, if I'm not mistaken. And telling myself this really helped me make that paradigm shift in life. And I've even shared this with my team of recruiters, and some of them are even utilizing this approach in their life as well. Today's message is very important because it signifies the making that change, that shift in life, that paradigm shift, the fundamental change in approach. You know what I'm saying? A paradigm shift to me is like an earthquake. You know what I'm saying? It's like an earthquake. It's like the ground shakes. You know what I'm saying? The tectonic plates, they never restore to their original position. It's a newly created position. And that symbolizes the process of growth in life. You know what I mean? In your career, let me be honest with you, it will be inevitable. You're going to have to make some paradigm shifts, and because you need to grow and you need to stay competitive out here in order to be successful. If you don't make that shift, it's totally up to you. But you will never be as good as you were supposed to be. You won't even be a has been. You understand me? I have a quick true story that I would love to share with you. It's about one of my clients, and she made a paradigm shift within her career as a chief operating officer of a very successful healthcare IT organization here in the beautiful Los Angeles area. Okay? And she came to me because her and I actually met at a speaking engagement, and she wanted me to help her streamline her process. So she had came to me, she said, "Hey Tony, I want to streamline my hiring process." I said, "Well, why do you want to streamline your hiring process?" And she said, "It's too overly complicated." And I asked her, I said, "Why is it so overly complicated?" She said, "Look here, Tony. There's over 100 different variables that we are using in order to screen candidates. And I want to narrow down which ones are the most important ones." And I said, "Okay, I understood." So at that point, her and I, you know what I'm saying, we spent about roughly 2 hours or so, just streamlining her hiring process, going over all those 100 and different variables just to determine which ones are most important, you know what I'm saying? And I told her, as your trusted advisor, my mission is to help you hammer down a solution that will ultimately increase your quality of delivery, and time to fill, as far as screening your applicants and filling these positions, these open positions. And, very, very important. So her and I, we came up with an effective and efficient process that helped her, thoroughly vet her candidates without being so stringent. So ultimately, this new streamlined process helped her generate an additional $10.2 million a year. And I'm going to cover that strategic plan that we went over, that I prescribed to her, as a matter of fact. The moral of the story is, or my client's story is, she made a paradigm shift within her career, but she had to step outside herself, you understand me, in order to make that shift to having more of a thorough vetting candidate process without being too stringent within the organization she was working for. Okay? So let's get right into the lesson. As a matter of fact, the 5 ways to thoroughly vet candidates without being too stringent. And this is the exact, strategic plan that I prescribed her, more or less. A few things that I'm not going to cover too in detail about, but I'm going to go over the 5 general things we discussed. And I like to start off with the question, just to get you thinking, because that's what this is all about. I want you to think, okay? And the question is, what is the best way to weed out qualified candidates without being so stringent that you lose out on talented candidates who don't check every box? Before we go any further, you know how I am. Show some love, put some love in your body. A lot of us executives, we're always constantly drinking coffee and not enough water or healthy tea. So I'm going to take a little water break myself. So feel free for you to do the same thing. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Man, that's refreshing. I love cold water on a hot summer day, especially here in beautiful LA. All right, let's dive right into the message. The first way to thoroughly vet candidates without being overly stringent is you ask for referrals, okay? It is very likely that talented people within your own organization know talented people. Like my mother taught me, birds of a feather flock together. You know the saying. And when you're hiring, ask employees for referrals. These are the people that are most likely to fit your organization culture than some random applicant, that you pull from an online platform. You know what I'm saying? You could offer bonuses to those who refer great matches as added incentives. Second way to thoroughly vet candidates without being too stringent, evaluate based on aptitude. Are you tracking? Evaluate based on aptitude, like I said. The best way to identify qualified candidates is by watching them apply themselves in real life. Give a candidate a task that allows them to show what they're capable of. Prioritize amplitude over achievement when evaluating the results of this task. You know what I mean? So candidates may not get everything right, but they will be able to show you how quickly they're able to learn, their ability to learn. The third way to thoroughly vet candidates without being overly stringent. Decide on what your rock bottom qualification is. Okay? This really depends on what qualifications you're looking for as an employer. Would you be okay if a candidate didn't graduate from like college? Would you consider somebody with less than 1 year of work experience? Would you consider someone without, referrals? So pick your rock bottom, and then decide that absolute minimum qualification and start weeding from there. The fourth way to thoroughly vet candidates without being overly astringent. You want to ask a variety of simple but relevant questions. You understand me? Ask many questions to provide a different area of relevant knowledge domains, but keep difficulties of levels such as anyone who is qualified can answer those questions easily. You know what I mean? Qualified candidates will be able to answer most of the questions correctly, and the one candidates that don't answer those questions correctly, just reject those candidates. This method is a great for initial screening because it is fast and it produces no false negatives. You understand? Then we have the fifth. The fifth way of thoroughly vetting candidates without being too stringent. Look for candidates who are willing to grow. That's so important. Measure a candidate by a standardized score or by apparent reputation of the institution listed on their resume is not a good method to hire by. Look for candidates who seem genuinely interested in growing. These are the people who acknowledge the difficulties they've experienced and express themselves honesty. Like my mother taught me, honesty is the best policy. Think twice about candidates who don't seem to show an interest in evolving. You got to get involved in order to evolve. You got to make sure you identify those candidates. And after trying these above tips, if you're still experiencing problems with thoroughly vetting candidates without being too stringent, you may want to talk to a third-party search firm like RNA Search Inc., like my company, for example, because we could definitely help you build that successful team, that successful hiring process. In conclusion, these are the 5 ways to thoroughly vet candidates without being too stringent Apply this uncommon information to bring restoration to your situation. I hope you never want as long as you live, and you live as long as you want. Make sure you hit like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it with others. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. Have a fabulous day.